Vlog time again, and we are in Keith, as you can see here, in the Stormtrack PHEV, and not Steve's Patrol, but Steve is driving this Patrol because we're taking it over to HorsePower Factory. So, two reasons for taking these cars to HorsePower Factory. Three reasons actually. One, we're doing remote tuning these days, and we need to learn how to do it. So that's one thing Steve's doing. So one representative from each store is going over and getting the training so we can do this in each state. Two, we've already started, but we put a 80mm pulley on this car with a standard fuel pump. Now we want to go and learn how to do it, but do a 70mm pulley with the Harrop fuel pump. So get a few more kilowatts out of it again. But what I'm personally interested in, while we're over there, can we tune the PHEV? So this motor, it's a 2.3 litre petrol turbo out of a Mustang. It produces in a Mustang 238 kilowatts, but Ford, in their wisdom, built tough, decided to make it 138 kilowatts. So I think it was 228 in a Mustang, 130 something in the PHEV. And then they put a 75 kilowatt motor to get a total of 207. Basically, they reduced its power by 40%. I want that 40% back and go and have some drags with some BYD Sharks. So we're going to see if all this plays out, and I'll take you guys along for the ride this week in Melbourne. Come to Melbourne, they said. It'll be fun, they said. It's cold, raining. The traffic was hellish. We got into Melbourne, I don't know, 3:30, and it took us like at least an hour to get to the other side. Then we went to we booked this apartment in Dandenong because I don't know if you can hear that, the dyno started up, because it looked right in the picture. The picture when we got there, it looked like the place was going to be torn down. Anyway, we're at HorsePower Factory. It's pretty exciting here in the morning when they're pulling out these like cams V8s. Let me show you. I don't know what that is. It's like a Jeep. Something going on there. This is what we're playing with today. So this is the car I was talking about. It's got that 80mm pulley. We're going to go down to 70mm and see what that does. And these boys are going to learn how it's all done. And I'm really hoping they crack the code of the Stormtrack PHEV to get some more horses out of it too. I'm going to leave these guys to do the training, and I'm going to go to our Melbourne shop and see what's going on there. Alright, how exciting is this? Coming over to Melbourne, we've got the 62 that I brought over. I wanted to find out, and we wanted to learn so much more about tuning. And we've obviously been working together with Matt and Ben from HorsePower Factory to do remote tuning. But I wanted to have the confidence and understand all the little bits and pieces, you know, just like anything. You've got to be perfectly 100% sure before I give this car back to a customer. And to understand all this, I thought I'd bring over Rob from Perth. I thought I'd bring Daniel from Melbourne and myself, so the three of us from the different states, we can all start doing this and have the confidence in doing it and understand how to diagnose these if we find a fault. But what we've done today is 2300 Supercharger is obviously on this one already. We've got the pulleys that we can change. Obviously the smaller the pulley, the more this spins up, the more air goes in. We need fuel to follow. If we don't have the fuel to follow, it's got to run lean and cause a massive destruction of the engine, throw a piston or do whatever. But we have now upgraded the fuel pump on this one here to a Harrop fuel pump upgrade, which is going to supply a lot more pressure and constant flow of pressure through the rail, which is perfect for not running lean. So what we found is leaving the original fuel pump, okay, so the stuff that we've learned is hard for me to explain to anyone out there. It's just stuff that we absorb because we need to know the criteria of everything. But the basics, 264.8 kilowatts at the rear wheels on a standard pump is what we were sort of going as like, yeah, well that's as much as we want to go. Well, you know what? We bought it here. We've strapped it onto the dyno, which we learn a lot about the actual machine itself. I'll go through that in a minute. But then we've also gone with the pink line here. We've gone and see how far we can go now that we understand and been taught what to look for in all the data. We can see that at 303.1 kilowatts we can get out of it, but fuel was starting to get to a point where it was running out. Like we were getting to the point where if we go any more, we're going to start running lean and do some damage to pistons. Now before we had no idea. Trying to be able to master this and see the data and be taught how to read the data properly is very, very vital for us to continue to do in the 3 states, these tune upgrades. So when we mucked around with the 303, we stopped there. We decided, all right, it's time now to do the Harrop fuel pump upgrade, because we know that we've got our limit of fuel pressure before it started to run out, and we wanted to go with a smaller pulley. So we ended up going with the 75mm pulley. So originally we had an 80mm, and then we've gone down to a 75, and we thought, all right, well, let's see what happens. But we've also done the Harrop fuel pump upgrade, yeah. So then green line is the new system going in, playing around with the timing and keeping an eye on all the knocks to make sure that it wasn't retarding in timing. We had a nice smooth curve going across the line, so it was not trying to grenade itself. Is the green line. So that there straight away, boom, 315.2 kilowatts. That's impressive. But in playing around with all the data and understanding and seeing Ben that was in there showing us what to do, and just the little steps of, you know, this is the old school me coming out of me. Like I used to play around with old school V8s distributor, and I used to play around with timing, and I used to get it to ping and make the sound, and the sensory method made me think, I've just got to back it back a little bit. Well, this is all electronically controlled now, but seeing it on the data. So we've got it to the threshold where we got nice timing going on, the perfect amount of timing. A little bit of fuel extra coming in behind it is giving us a follow through. This red line is 331.2 kilowatts. Okay, that motor did not ping, did not make any funny noises, gave us a smooth power stroke the whole way through to 6,000 RPM. Now I've got a couple of videos of us in the car, got a couple of videos outside the car. Mate, these VK56 motors, we are now going to tune in-house with the knowledge to know exactly what we're doing. I've learnt heaps, and I'm sure the other guys have too. Bring it on. So today, I've learned a lot about tuning and the actual dyno machine itself. The dyno machine itself is actually very vital when it comes down to the readings, and it can come down to, if you do a tune beforehand and you bolt this whole thing down and strap it down and everything's all set, you do the tune, also you get the readout and then you go back out and you do your repairs or put a supercharger on and you come back on. It can make a big difference to the numbers that actually pulls on there and how it's actually put on originally. Like if I strap it down and I click it right down and next minute and give it another like yank just to make sure that it's on, that extra click that I get out of those lines to hold it down can actually put more force onto those rollers, which actually drops the numbers on what you get as a final. So on this particular dyno that we played around with and all the settings that we've played around with today, we haven't moved the car. We've made sure that it stayed exactly the same throughout the whole process of changing fuel pumps, pulleys, the start dyno run and the last dyno run. Like it's actually precise, because now that I've been shown how these things work, like how is it possible that everyone gets the same dyno readout from one place to another? You know what? Big lesson learned. You can't trust what number Joe Blob did down the road got to then come and do it on your own. They're all different, but they must be close to a T, but never exactly right. So very important lesson today was if we do get this set up, or a setup like this, then we have a procedure for putting them on and the right pressure to pull down on. So we're more precise.
This is when I know I'm out of my depth here. Look how many lanes are on this road. Like, I'm just a little guy from Adelaide. This town would eat me up, I think. So I'm standing out the front of STEDI here in Melbourne, and I've got to admit, as I drove down the road, I'm looking at all the warehouses in this industrial area. So this massive building with STEDI written on the side of it. Like, I knew STEDI was big. I didn't know they were this big. This is huge. I'll tell you why I'm here too. Check out the car park. STEDI lights, STEDI lights, STEDI lights, STEDI lights. There's something missing on Need Sun. Might have to fix that. So why am I here? And this is actually the main reason I've come to Melbourne. I've been looking at the way we work with suppliers. Because in the beginning, like, I don't know, with 4x4 DNA, it was a destination business. People just came to us. That's different now as we try and diversify. We've got to find new customers. And a part of that strategy is going and analysing the suppliers out there of who we want to put energy into. And I'm not saying we're going to buy from them necessarily, or even that they even want to sell to us, but who are we going to put energy into? Like one of them, for example, is Hammer. Actually, I'll speak more specifically about STEDI. So when we're looking at a company, we're going to go to their landing page. As soon as we go to their website, if it says find a dealer on there, that like gets a big tick straight away. Then we go into their dealer network and have a look how many competitors are around our stores, and if there's not much, that gets another tick. Of course, we look at like product and price and all those sorts of things and terms, and how much marketing dollars the company puts into the stratosphere, and with the idea that, let's say STEDI here, we'll use them as an example because I'm here. They've just done a big thing with 24/7, so we know they're investing heavily into the market to get attention and awareness, so their product is hot. Now, if a customer goes to their website and then goes to the Find a Dealer section and there's 4x4 DNA there, like we might pick up an extra sale a week. Now, if we do that with 10 suppliers like that, that's an extra 10 sales a week that didn't actually cost us any money to go and find, because they're using their marketing dollars, their reps, their website, and they're steering it towards us. And don't get me wrong, we will reward STEDI by pushing their stuff too. But it's just 4x4 DNA has to diversify, and we're looking at all these different ways to do it. Here we go. Alright, this is what the inside of STEDI looks like. Gee, first impressions, you definitely get to see the range here. That's very cool. At this point, I don't know what any of these do or what the differences are, but that's what I'm here to learn. Light bars. It's a fancy looking showroom, I'll tell you that. Oh, switching. All right, I'm gonna go through the back doors. I'm told I'm not allowed to take the camera through that part, but I'm gonna go and learn all about STEDI. All right, I don't know where this is going to fit into the video because we're in the car park under Dandenong Hotel or apartment or whatever. It's the most crap joint you've ever heard of. And there's nowhere to go for dinner or anything, so we're quite literally pulled the induction cooktop out of the back of the PHEV. We've plugged it in, and Steve's cooking up a steak, a Scotch fillet, because we've done everything we need to do. Steve, Rob, Daniel have done all the training on tuning. Do you want to explain what happened with the PHEV, as in like why it's not being tuned right now?
Okay, so we got to obviously talk to the car ECU, and obviously we need software to be able to extract the, Ford software out of it. But obviously that wasn't communicating with the software we had. So HP tuners for doing like patrol stuff, we can get in there and we can take out all the information. Ford. We hooked up OBD2, and then we got in there, and we were like, damn, we can't actually get in there. So poor Dave, he's sitting here. He's driven all the way to Melbourne
I was crushed.
to find out that nothing can happen. But Dave will take over. What happened, Dave?
So we achieved everything we needed to do in the Melbourne office, HorsePower factory, went saw STEDI, and to be honest, we didn't want to stay in this dive another night, so we were just going to go home. Maybe stay at Horsham or somewhere on the way home. I just got a text, like just then, from Matt at HorsePower factory with the words, "It's going to happen." I'm like, what does that mean?
Well, it means there's a possibility that maybe.
I was packing my bags.
I'm about to have my bag.
I know.
I wanted food first.
And I rang Matt, and he's not picking up, so I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if we're staying tomorrow to take the PHEV back, or if we're sick of this joint and we're going.
Well, I'm sick of the joint. Dandenong, Melbourne?
Sucks.
Sucks. I feel like I'm in a jail.
The best thing in this joint is that steak that we brought from Adelaide. All right, we'll just pause for a second. We've got to speak to Matt to work out what we're going to do before we can continue this video. Let's cook the steak.
You're not beating me on the way home, though. My tune is better.
We will see. We will see. The PHEV could pull something out here.
Yeah.
All right, so the next morning, been a bit excited all night, and I got the text this morning. The software needs to be ordered and organised before we can do it, so I can't do it on this trip. However, I am taking this as a win, because if we're going to tune the PHEV, step one is to see if we can get into the computer. This week we learnt we couldn't, so we know that we have to go and do more things. And Matt's gone away and done that, and so now we have to order it, step two. So I'm going to have to come back and do this all again, but it looks promising. I think we're going to get our 40% power back out of this PHEV vehicle. So just watch this space. There's some pretty cool stuff coming up in the next few weeks, around the Super Duty actually. So yeah, if you like this sort of content, make sure you hit subscribe. It really helps the channel. It doesn't change anything else, but it tells YouTube that you're interested. All right, I'm gonna see you next time, probably in Adelaide on YouTube. Yeah.